Alright lads, so today we're going to be ranking all 5 attributes in Bleach Brave Souls, this time though based solely on how well and easy they can farm super link swap potions and also link swap potions. We did this over 10 months ago, this is what the list looked like, and for the most part it's somewhat similar, but there definitely has been some shifting in certain attributes. And if you guys want to see me rank all 5 attributes from best to worst, not just strictly looking at link swap farmers, well let me know in the comments below, we might do that sometime next month. With that said though, I like putting lists like this out because it gives you a quick look, just based on the characters that are available in-game, what attribute needs more love when it comes to just strictly farming characters. Because of course, farming in this game is something that we do quite often, and how much items we can farm in a certain attribute really depend on the character we have access to. Especially when it comes to inheritance trials, super links or potions can be hard to come by if the characters that we're almost forced to use, the farming characters, are quite mediocre. Those that have access to really good farmers, the easier it is to get those items, especially if you do own the characters. And likewise with links or potions, do the attributes have access to plus 10 farmers? How good is their damage output? Because for the most part, you farm links or potions in epic rates. And on your screen right now, this is how we're ranking all 5 attributes from best to worst when it comes to just farming links or potions and also super links or potions. Now, when it comes to droplet farmers, we're not strictly looking at them because the way you farm droplets in this game is mainly in epic raids, and that's always a bonus, right? You're mainly farming links or potions while at the same time stacking up on a few extra droplets. But with that said, let's work our way from the bottom, starting off as the worst attribute by far, power. Now, at the same time, the power attribute as a whole is just one of the worst attributes in the game right now. They just don't have as many heavy hitters as the other attributes do have. And the same again can be said when it comes to your farming characters. And funny enough, literally the last time I made this video, Mind was the worst attribute, but also at the same time the worst attribute as a whole. So it's kind of a funny coincidence, maybe not, I don't know, that this time around the power attribute is the worst attribute as a whole, but also at the same time one of the worst attributes when it comes to farming links or potions and also super links or potions. Now, since 10 months have passed, they've gotten some really good characters. Literally, some of the best characters in the game are Mind characters, and they've also gotten access to some pretty good farmers too. So here's hoping this year, 2024, we see the same treatment that Mind got in the power attribute, and I'm hoping that to be the case. At this point in time, considering how bad power is, I wouldn't be surprised if we get another power attribute anniversary character for the 9th anniversary. But why exactly is power bad? Well, first up, let's look at the super links of farmers. So you have access to the newest one that we just received at the start of the year, Shiro. Alongside that, you have Nelio, you have Yumachika, and you also have Momo. Now, in regards to Momo, she's a normal attack damage character. She's most of a character you just want to use to auto as you get carried by a better character. She's really not someone you want to play, very similar to Kanfu Kenpachi, who we called one of the worst characters of the year when he released. He wasn't really a bad character, but being forced to use NAD characters in hard content like co-op IT, it just isn't fun. Now, Momo is fortunate enough to be a team booster. She does have the increased chance to fix stat elements, and she is a range character with guard break, so it isn't as bad, but it's still pretty bad, right? You don't want to be using NAD characters in co-op content. It's just significantly slower. The only good thing for Momo is that she can get carried by better characters. Yumachika had potential to be a really good super links farmer, but his range is absolutely terrible. While it is nice that he does go through Iron Skin, unfortunately he wasn't given the extra 100% damage to enemies not afflicted by an element, so his lack of range and low damage output just doesn't really make him a good farmer in any IT, regardless of the killer. And even when he does have killer the Aaroniero enemies, I mean, there's a lot of enemies out there that can kill you from afar, so when you are using him in his perfect situation, you still probably find yourself dying more often than not. Nelio is a really good farmer, frenzy +2, immune to every stat summon, increased chance to afflict stat summons. Unfortunately for her though, she only gives +5 super links or potions. Now maybe it's not that big of a deal, but when you are farming IT, you like to get both. And when you are farming inheritance trials, you're mainly farming the super links or potions, but again, getting that bonus links or potions also does go a long way. And with Nelio, you know, you're losing that extra bit of value. Nelio is a solid character though, we definitely can get better, and unfortunately Mashiro wasn't that. She herself is the first character in the game to have +5 super links or potions, so with her you can now actually make other characters +10 super links or potions, but again, the options that you have here really aren't the best, right? Even with that link, Mashiro as a character isn't really all that. You know, yes, she does have frenzy +2, yes, she does have a high damage output when you inflict a stat summon, but once more her range is lacking. Power attribute lacks a really good damage dealer with good range, good strong attacks that can clear IT in less than like a minute and 20 by themselves. What they really need is someone like Senjumaru Tensa in the attribute. And unfortunately, because they just got Mashiro, it might be quite some time before we actually see that. So yeah, Power's in a pretty bad state when it comes to farming Super Links or potions, so much so that I just use 8th Anniversary Ichigo to auto. Now when it comes to farming Links or potions, they're not too bad. They're really not. Obviously, they have access to Iban as a +5 Links or potion soul trait, and pair that with someone like Ruka, for example, you are getting +15 potions per run. Ruka is your +10 farmer, and her damage output honestly quite respectable. Not really the greatest, but it is still good enough for the character, especially in epic raids, and an SA3 being a charge strong attack 3 with a team heal makes it so the quest itself is easier. You can keep your team at full stamina, and that SA3 itself can also pack a punch. With that, considering the fact that she's also a +10 farmer, she's honestly really good. They also have access to some team boosters too. You know, again, you have Momo, you also have Yoruichi. Surprisingly, most of the other attributes don't have team boosters, so I would actually like to see more farmers in this game, more so dedicated to epic raids, you know, +10, +5 Links or potion characters with a boost SA2 just to make the runs even faster. Kensei's a good character. Saruchi can be really good, at least when paired with other Saruchis, but that's very rare. And that's really about it. It's a good attribute when it comes to farming Links or potions, but mainly I'm putting it at number 5 right now because farming Super Links or potions with power-only characters is very, very bad. Again, at this point, you're just better off autoing with 8th Anniversary Ichigo than even bothering to use someone like Mashiro, Neliel, or even Yumichiga. In 4th place, we have the Mind attribute. Now, this one's definitely replaceable with Heart. You can definitely rank them either or. It's kind of tied right now. In the end, I just went with Mind being 4th place. When it comes to Super Links or farmers, they have it good. They once more have access to 4 Super Links or farmers: Swimsuit Neliel, Hidden Okiura, Balgo Anasushi, and of course also Parasoi Kaku. Now, the main 2 Super Links or farmers you are going to use is Ikaku and also Balgo. Balgo being a really good character with a high chance to inflict stat augments, Frenzy +1 and an 80% SP boost. He has 2 killers, and he is increasing the amount of Super Links or potions and Links or potions you can get by 5. Since he can also inflict weakening and drain, it makes any IT quite easy. Even if he isn't clearing the fastest when he does nav killer, you are pretty much guaranteed to never die with his character. With Ikaku, it's kind of the opposite. He's the more traditional new gen of Super Links or farmers where he can't inflict stat augments, but he does have a high damage output that can also go through Iron Skin. He was a bit of a weird one because unlike Senjumaru, who we'll talk about later, she has Frenzy +2, can go through Iron Skin, and also has 100% more damage. They kind of balanced or tried to balance Ikaku, weirdly enough. I'm not sure why, but he has Frenzy +2, he has a high Berserker value, but because of that, they didn't give him the 100% more damage to enemies not afflicted by an ailment. Instead, they just gave him 30%. But honestly, that's good enough. His strong attack hit's good. He can clear IT relatively fast regardless of killer. The only bad thing about him is that he doesn't have the greatest survivability, no way to stay at full stamina. And when I was playing with him, while I was clearing quests fast, I did find myself dying more often. So, you know, you have access to 2 good farmers here, Balgo or Ikaku. Balgo's the more slow character, but definitely can clear safely, never dying, where Ikaku can clear faster, but you might find yourself reviving more often than not. So yeah, Mind does it good when it comes to farming Super Links or potions. When it comes to farming Links or potions, likewise, they're also really good here. Ikaku can be used as a Links or farmer. Balgo can also be used as a Links or farmer. I myself, having Max Transcended, have had him Max Transcended since his release, and it makes epic raids really trivial, or more so really fast because his Sobon can pack a punch. With weakening, bombardment, and the SP boost, even if he is only special move level 1, I mean, having a powerful Sobon as a Links or farmer does help you clear epic raids significantly faster. Grimmjow, he's this attribute's +10 Links or farmer, and he was also given Frenzy +1, good Berserker value, and an 80% SP boost. Yeah, he honestly clears epic raids really fast. Byakuya is your +5 Links or potion soul trait, so that can turn any character into a +10 farmer. Likewise, it can turn Grimmjow into a +15 farmer. And as for the other characters, you know, Okura is still good. Gin can be a good character team booster. And Toshiro, while he doesn't have the highest damage output, he does have a strong soul bomb debuffing the enemies, allowing you to clear epic raids, for example, even faster. When it comes to the heart attribute, realistically, and maybe that's why you can say Mind is better, when it comes to farming inheritance trials, you really only have Rangiku. I mean, yes, you have access to Kaname, but he's not really that great when he doesn't have killer. And even then, he doesn't have an increased chance to inflict stat augment, so it's kind of awkward choosing him. And then he's still a good character once more when you have killer, but compared to Rangiku, you know, they just pale in comparison. Rangiku is a really good farmer. It's what you want to see in a Super Links or farmer: a good strong attack hit, high damage output, Frenzy +1, 100% more damage to enemies not affected by an ailment, and she can also go through Iron Skin. Easily should be everyone's go-to farmer. She can get better, like we can get a character better than her, and the attribute would definitely benefit from it, but as of right now, Even though she's technically the only like usable farmer for IT, she is a really good one at that. I have no problems using this character when farming inheritance trials. When it comes to farming epic raids though, I mean basically every character here is good. Momo is going to be your plus 10 farmer. She provides really good support with her barrier and heal SA2, ensuring that everyone's going to stay at full stamina, no one's going to take any hits, while also then getting plus 10 potions, right? You want to use Santan as a link? Well, now you got a plus 15 links or character. Really good combination with those two right there. Kaname, again, still good in epic raids. Halibel has a good damage output for epic raid content. Isane are really good in epic raids with that SA3, once more allowing your team to easily stay at full stamina. That if that's anything, that's one thing the heart attribute does have, is a lot of good team supporters. Now, in the upcoming month, we are going to get the awakened version of Menos Grande, and I wouldn't recommend it, but I know people are going to still try and farm links or potions there. But the boss has a lot of HP, and you know, whenever we get those really difficult epic raids where the boss is just spam attacks, and you haven't learned the pattern, that's where having characters like Isane and also Momo are going to be really clutch, because when farming epic raids with your farming characters, you know, having those barriers and those team heals to stay at full stamina will just make those runs a lot easier, especially for those that, again, didn't learn the pattern. And that's what I like most about this attribute when it comes to those two characters. Isane also has a team buff, allowing your team to do more damage. So if anything, the reason why I'm putting the heart attribute above the mind one is Rangiku's a solid, really good super links or farmer. And when it comes to farming links or potions, they just have really good team supporters that allow them to stay at full stamina and make any epic raid trivial even when you don't learn the pattern. Going into number 2, we have the technique attribute. Now, if we made this video a month ago, 2 months ago, they would easily be the worst attribute by far. But with the release of the new Unleashed Halibel, things are now different. At least when it comes to farming super links or potions, they went from the worst attribute to now the best attribute, being better than speed in my opinion. Just strictly looking at super links or potions. That's how good Halibel is, right? We showcased it on the channel a couple of days ago. She can beat any IT that she wants to in under like a minute and 30 seconds with ease. She has a really good strong attack hit. And while she does lack killer and she'll never have killer, it doesn't stop her from farming links or potions. And the great thing that I like about this character is that not only does she have like the power and speed clearing of Tensa Zangetsu, the first original like god tier super links or farmer, she's given plus 10. So while yes, it's true, Tensa's technically better and Senjumaru's the, you know, best super links or farmer, they don't give the same value that Halibel brings because she's a plus 10 farmer, right? So farming speed links or potions now with Halibel it's a godsend. It's so good right now. Farming speed, super links or potions now really is not an issue like it was over a month ago. And it's again strictly thanks to Halibel. But likewise, Halibel is a plus 5 super links or potion link, so you can also link her onto Gin. Gin's another good farmer if you want to strictly use him. Let's say you don't like Halibel's gameplay, well now you can turn Gin into a plus 10 farmer. So realistically, number 2 is going to technique strictly just because of Halibel. But when it comes to farming just links or potions in general, they still have it good too. Chojo's a good farmer, Gin's still good. You don't really see him that often, but Swimsuit Joshiro's also a really good character here too. He's the plus 10 farmer. Pair him with someone like Momo, you can get plus 15 links or potions. And the great thing about Jushiro is that he's a really good team buffer, giving technique characters 20% more strong attack damage, but 40% more damage to any enemy inflicted with a stat summon, assuming you are a Soripa. So the more like technique farmers we get, links or potion farmers, that are also Soripas, the better epic raids is when it comes to just speed farming to get links or potions, because they're just doing significantly more damage, right? You pair him with also, again, Shojiro, similar character. Assuming everyone's using Soripas, which to be fair, there isn't that many, but I'm sure we'll get more in the future. They easily will become just a farm epic raids. Because again, epic raids, the value in a links or farmer really comes down to their damage output and how fast the attribute can clear epic raids. Especially again on those more difficult ones. Maybe compared to some of the other attributes, they don't have access to some of the better links or farmers. But again, I'm just putting technique as number 2 when it comes to farming super links or potions, because having access to Halibel, a plus 10 super links or farmer that can clear as fast as Senjumaru and also Tensa, is absolutely crazy, especially for a premium character, right? That's the best thing about Halibel. Even if you don't pull for her, even if you don't want her, you will get her later on through summon tickets and she'll eventually be featured in banners. And when she is, you're going to be happy to have her there because she is a really good character. That then takes us into number 1, the speed attribute. Now, yes, speed's absolutely stacked. Of course, when it comes to farming super links or potions strictly, they once more have access to 4 farmers: Christmas Noel, Akon, Tenten Zangetsu, and also Senjumaru. But realistically, the only two that you are going to be using here is Senjumaru and also Tensa Zangetsu. Tensa, as we all know, was the original OP farmer, frenzy +1, good berserker value, great set of strong attacks, can go through Iron Skin and has 100% more damage. Senjumaru is basically Tensa but perfected. In her case, she has the exact same strong attack kit, but she has frenzy +2. She has complete stats immunity. She is the best super Linksa farmer in the game, but again, Halibo has the advantage of giving +10. But in terms of playstyle, I mean, Senjumaru can easily clear any ITE in under a minute. She's absolutely amazing. So the fact that Speed has access to those two god tier farmers, Tensa and Senju, just make farming power super Linksa potions so easy. And likewise, when it comes to farming Linksa potions, you are going to see these characters be used, and they just have a really good damage output and work well together. Now, when it comes to farming Linksa potions, they're also quite stacked. Now, as of right now, as the timing of this video, Speed also has access to 2 +5 Linksa potion soul traits, Ganten Bane and also the newly released Shuhei. So if you were to use those two links on someone like Mila Rose, for example, well, now you can get +20 Linksa potions, which is absolutely crazy, right? So not only are they the best when it comes to farming super Linksa potions, have access to some really good characters, when it comes to farming Linksa potions, they have the potential to get the most Linksa potions in any given run, because they're the only attribute that have access to 2 +5 Linksa farmers, as through soul traits. But Mila Rose is also a good character, you know, being the +10 farmer for her attribute, good damage output. The more Mila Rose in your lobby, the better. Christmas Noel, similar to Bug, has a really good damage output on the Soul Bomb, making nuking through phases in epic raids a lot easier. Hanachiro is your team supporter, buffing their damage output, healing your team, potentially allowing them to stay at full stamina. Likewise, you have characters like Akon, who once more is another good team support, 20% sad, 40% more damage to Storypers, to enemies afflicted with status ailment. And you know, prior to Tensa, Mila Rose and characters like that, you were able to clear any epic raid significantly faster because you could use characters like Swimsuit Retsu, a character that can apply weakening, weakened defense. New Year's Ichigo, another character that can apply weakening and weakened defense on their Soul Bomb. And because they apply weakening, you can use Akon to buff their damage output, so you don't even need any of these newer characters to clear epic raids fast, because these three as a team just work really well together. So ultimately, number 1 is going to Speed. They right now are probably also the best attribute in the game, so we're kind of seeing that reflected in the farmers, right? Power is the worst, and that's also seen in their farmers, and then Speed is the best, and that's also again seen in their farmers. Tensa and Senjumaru are just too good of characters, having access to 2 god tier farmers in an attribute. Speed also has access to +20 links or potions from one character if you have Mila Rose linked with Ganten Bane and also Shuhei. So last year Speed was number 1, and right now Speed's number 1. I guess we'll update this video in like once more, 10 months time. See how we're looking like, right? I don't expect Speed to fall off anytime soon, but who knows, right? Maybe they will. I've been playing this game long enough now to know that certain attributes get absolute love, but all that love that they do get eventually means that they're going to go down to the bottom sometime in the future, right? You know, at one point, power was the best attribute in the game, and now it's the worst. At one point, like we saw last year, mind was the worst attribute in the game, and now it's one of the best attributes in the game. Not the best, because speed's still number 1, but mind isn't far off, at least when it comes to actual good characters. Their farmers could definitely still use some work, so I'm curious to see what my list will look like in the future. But in the comments below, let me know your ranking from best to worst attribute, at least when it comes to strictly links or farmers. But again, in the future, maybe in like a week or two, we might even rank all 5 attributes based on the 10 best characters in each given attribute. That could also make for a pretty interesting discussion, so I hope to see you lads there. Take care and peace.